In today's video series, we're going to talk about some fraction operations, starting with how to convert mixed numbers into improper fractions. So to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction, we first multiply the whole number by the denominator, and then we add the numerator. If the mixed number is negative, hold the negative sign until the end, then add it back into your final answer. Here are our examples. Example 1, the whole number is 4 and the denominator is 8. So we're going to do 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. And then we're going to add the numerator, plus 3. So 4 times 8 is 32, plus 3 is 35. And we keep the denominator the same, 35 over 8. When I have a negative mixed number, I'm going to hold that negative. I like to cover it up with my finger. So I think 6 times 8. So we multiply these together. 6 times 8 is 48. 48 plus 5. 48 plus 5 gives me 53. Again, keep the denominator the same, 8. And then I give the negative sign back at the end. And I usually put the negative sign with the numerator. You can either put it with the numerator, the denominator, or out in front. It all means the same thing. But please do not put it both with the numerator and the denominator. That would not be correct. Okay. Last example in this section. Again, this is a negative mixed number, so I'm going to hold that negative sign and cover it up. 3 times 5 is 15, so I multiply those together. 15 plus 4 gives me 19. So I have 19 over 5, and then I put my negative sign back in at the end. All right. Next section is how to add and subtract fractions. Let me zoom this back out a little bit. All right, adding and subtracting fractions. So to add or subtract fractions, you must first convert all mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then we need to find a common denominator for all fractions involved. We add or subtract the numerators, and we keep the denominators the same. So example number 1, we have 1/2 plus negative 1 3/4. First step, we convert all mixed numbers to improper fractions. So 1/2 is 1/2. And then we're going to add to it, convert this like we learned in the last section. So 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7, so I have 7/4, and it's negative, add the negative back in. Okay, next step is to find the common denominator. My common denominator here would be 4ths. And that's going to stay negative 7/4. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. So 2/4 plus negative 7/4. We add the numerators, 2 plus negative 7. 2 plus negative 7 gives me negative 5 over 4. And then in algebra, we can leave it as an improper fraction. We do not need to go back to a mixed number. So that would be your final answer. All right, example number 2. First step, convert all mixed numbers into improper fractions. So I'm going to hold that negative sign. 3 times 7 is 21. Plus 2 is 23. So I have 23 over 7. Put my negative sign back. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. And I keep my denominator at 3. Need to find a common denominator second. So my common denominator would be 21. Okay. 7 and 3 are both factors of 21. Quick review on common denominators. So if I multiply 7 by 3, I get 21. If I multiply 23 by 3, I get 69, and that's a negative. 3 times 7 is 21, so 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, and then I'm going to add the numerators together, but keep the denominators the same. So I have a negative 69 and a positive 49. If I add those together, I get a negative 20 over 21 as my final answer. Now you can use a calculator to help you with the arithmetic here with those integers. That would be totally fine. Okay. You don't have to if you don't want to, if you'd like the challenge, but you're more than welcome to. All right, next one is a subtraction question. 3/4 is just 3/4, and again, I need to create an improper fraction. So 4 times 8 is 32, plus 5 is 37 over 8. Next step would be to find a common denominator. That would be 8. So second fraction can stay the same. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm going to do 6 minus 37. That's an integer rule question, 6 minus 37. You can take a minute and do your keep change opposite if you want. You can change this to addition and then make a negative sign there. So 6 plus negative 37, that's going to be a negative 31 over 8. Final answer. Okay. So again, you use your integer rules on the numerators as if the denominator wasn't there. Last example in the adding and subtracting fraction section. We've got two mixed numbers, so we want to change them to improper fractions. Again, when you have a negative, hold that negative. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15, so I have 15 over 8. Put the negative sign back in. Minus 4 and 3/4, so 4 times 4 is 16. And this is why we don't do math in 10. But unfortunately, 10 shows up way better on these videos. Okay, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. And then keep the denominator 4. Common denominator again is 8. First fraction stays negative 15 over 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 19 times 2 is 38. And then I can use my integer rule, 15 minus, change the minus to a plus, take the opposite of 38, so I have negative 38. Negative 15 plus negative 38. I have to go over here because I don't have my calculator. 8 plus 5 is 13, and 53. So negative 53 over 8 is my final answer. Alright, last review for fractions, we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing. This is a little bit more straightforward. To multiply fractions, you must convert all mixed numbers into improper fractions, just like before. We multiply straight across both the numerator and the denominator. Alright, 3 examples. Here we go. So I have, forgot this little bubble. Dividing is almost the same, but you must flip or take the reciprocal of the second fraction before you multiply. Alright, first example. Let's change these guys to mixed numbers. This one's positive, so I don't have to do anything except multiply. 4 times 9 is 36. 36 plus 8 is 44. So I have 44 over 9 times, hold my negative sign, 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5, 5/4. And this is where I'm going to break out my calculator really quickly. If I can find it. There it is. All right. So 44 times 5 is 220 over 9 times 4 is 36. And we do want to simplify. So there's 2 ways to simplify. You can simplify at the end here. Okay, I can divide both of those by 4. So this is going to be 9, and 220 divided by 4 is 55. Or I could cross-simplify at the beginning. So if I have 45 over 9 times 5 over 4, I notice that 4 is a factor of both 44 and 4. So if I divide 44 by 4, I get 11. And if I divide 4 by 4, I get 1. And then multiply straight across. 11 times 5 is 55. 9 times 1 is 9. So either method will work. If you don't know how to cross-simplify, don't worry about it. You can always use this method and simplify at the end. This does make your multiplication a little bit easier. Okay, example 2. Let's convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 2 is 17, so I have 17 over 5 times. And when you have a whole number like this, you always want to put it over 1. So this is going to be negative 10 over 1. Cannot cross-simplify 17 and 1, but I can cross-simplify 5 and negative 10. 5 is a factor of both of those numbers. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. Negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. So 17 times negative 2 is negative 34. And 1 times 1 is 1. So my final answer would be negative 34. We don't want to write anything with a 1 in the denominator at the end. We want to make sure we always get rid of that. I forgot to circle my answer for number 1. All right, last example in this section, we have negative 10 divided by 2 and 1/6. If I have something like this, it's hard for me to read a fraction within a fraction. So I always rewrite it using the division symbol that we learned in elementary school. It helps me visualize a little bit better. All right, so this negative 10, I'm going to put it over a 1. And I'm going to divide by, let's change this to an improper fraction. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Okay. And then to divide fractions, I am multiplying by the reciprocal, so I'm going to flip this upside down. 6 over 13. No cross-simplification can happen. There's no factor of both 10 and 13. There's no factor of 1 and 6 common. All right, so then I'm going to multiply straight across. Negative 10 times 6 is negative 60. 1 times 13 is 13. Double check to make sure you can't simplify this. You can't because 13 is a prime number, not a factor of 60. All done.